struggle is real.
Luke Otto to kick it off for Northwestern. Connor Hayward to return for Michigan State. Hayward from the goal line. Across the 20. And tackled at the 43, a penalty marker back near the 15-yard line.
During the return, holding on the return team, number 49. Penalized half the distance to the goal. First down.
Shane Jones with the penalty. Michigan State led by its sophomore quarterback, Brian Lewerke. Started 4 games last year before breaking his leg against Michigan. And he is a true dual-threat QB. They really haven't had a guy with his skill set in East Lansing.
You're right, Anish. He's a promising player, which I believe with the right makeup and competitive temperament to play quarterback. And he really thrives on keeping the play alive for the second reaction throw. So if you are the Wildcats defense, you must cover downfield today when he gets on the loose.
He leads a very young Michigan State offense. They've had their growing pains. They've also flashed some moments like they did late last week against Indiana. Play action, Lewerke on the move. He's got his tight end, Matt Sokol, for a first down at the 25. A gain of 16 yards. Joining Lewerke in that Spartan backfield, Gerald Holmes. Holmes, the tailback, missed the last 2 games with an ankle injury. And he's part of a 3-headed rotation at running back that includes L.J. Scott and Madre London. On the delay, here's Holmes. And the 5th-year senior with a gain of 3. Impact players when the Spartans have the ball, Ahmad.
L.J. Scott, he possesses the body control and patience needed to exploit defenses consistently. Felton Davis is a good overall athlete with good measurables, capable of winning one-on-one matchups. And Patty Fisher has excellent instincts and is a playmaker for this defense. And for Nate Hall, he's very effective as a pass rusher, and he reads and reacts very quickly at the snap of the ball.
Lewerke to the sideline. That is caught. Felton Davis, one of your impact players, making the catch. It's enough for a first down for the Spartans. Davis, the top receiver for the Spartans, leading the team in receptions and yardage. And as a junior, the only upperclassman amongst the wide receivers on the 2-deep. Again to the air, Lewerke. Downfield, that is caught by Cody White. And White takes it inside the 10, picking up where he left off last week. The true freshman coming off a breakout game with a big play early.
And this coaching staff for the Spartans, they really like this kid. In talking to him, they've said that he's really developed as the weeks have come along. He can play both the Z and X position. Getting his 5th start of the season, and Cody White showing his breakaway speed, and at 6'3", 206 pounds, really has that long stride that is able to get the separation needed to get open downfield.
Lewerke under pressure, into the end zone for Sokol. Unable to hang on, second down.
Second goal, Michigan State on the Northwestern 6-yard line.
Second and goal now from the 6. Colin Lucas, the fullback. Fade route for Davis. 3rd and goal.
Yeah, I don't mind that opportunity there. Felton Davis, obviously at 6'4", 195, is a red zone target, and they were trying to take advantage of the matchup between he and Montre Hartage, the best cornerback for this Wildcats defense. And at 6 foot, Felton with a 4-inch advantage. That time there, Lewerke just a little bit long on that throw, or it would have given Felton an opportunity to haul in an early touchdown.
Felton Davis now in the slot, 3rd and goal. Lewerke changes direction. Touchdown, Cody White.
Lewerke's pass is complete to Cody White. The score, Michigan State 6, Northwestern 0.
Outstanding play by the quarterback, Brian Lewerke. This is what makes him special. This is what the coaching staff and the Spartan fan base is going to.
This is an official timeout for an injury. Injury timeout.
Him extending plays, and early on you see here the connection between he and Cody White. But Lewerke doing a fantastic job of moving around in that pocket. And as a defensive back, Anisha, I can tell you, it is incredibly difficult to cover downfield once a quarterback breaks the pocket and has the type of athletic ability of Lewerke. And you saw the defense there break down immediately as Lewerke got loose on the back end, and now the Spartans are up by 6.
Mark D'Antonio has had Connor Cook and Hoyer and Cousins. They've had NFL quarterbacks come through. Those 3 in that same play probably throw the ball away at some point. Lewerke is still learning and developing as a passer, but you start to see it with this offense. The pieces are there. The question is, do they realize their potential in 2017?
And I think that's the big question mark. You're absolutely right. And Lewerke will be a major part of solving this puzzle. His development as he continues to get better will be the anchor behind this offense really taking some major steps in the back half of this season.
PAT by Matt Coughlin is good. Michigan State finished strong last week against Indiana. They come out strong against Northwestern. Lewerke to Cody White. That was last week's refrain. 7-0 Spartans. Cody White with a touchdown catch on Michigan State's opening drive. He also had a 60-yard catch to set up the score. A true freshman along with Hunter Rison on his right there. Part of the potential that this wide receiving core has. Spartans pretended like they were going to kick it on sides. Brett Scanlon to kick it off. Line drive kick. And Northwestern takes it at the 25 as we check in with Adnan Burke in the studio.
It'll be first and 10, Northwestern at around 25-yard line.
All right, thank you, Adnan. Saquon Barkley getting the Nittany Lions off to a fast start. Northwestern on its opening possession. Clayton Thorson over the middle for a completion. Flynn Nagel's got a first down, and the Wildcats move the chains. Nagel, junior receiver who had his best game of his career last year in the win against Michigan State. 5-wide look on 1st and 10. Against a 3-man rush, Thorson is hit, and he finds Cameron Green at the 41, a gain of 5. Thorson, the junior out of Wheaton, Illinois. 9 interceptions this season, matching his total from last year. Now Justin Jackson, and there is the Wildcats' all-time leading rusher. Broke the school record 2 weeks ago in a win against Maryland. He's in the top 10 all-time in career rushing yards in the Big Ten, and we had a chance to spend some time with him yesterday. Just an impressive young man, a true student athlete, as Roddy told us before the game.
I couldn't agree more, and I love his slashing style, and he's got great straight line speed.
On 3rd down, Thorson looking for Green, who picks up the first down.
And this is where Thorson has really developed, where you can now rely on him to make plays with his arm, along with his feet, but to move the chains. Only one touch here early on for Justin Jackson, and this Wildcats offense is still moving despite the lack of touches for Jackson.
Thorson, he's got Nagel into Michigan State territory. And so much for this game looking like a defensive slugfest.
Yeah, he's in a great rhythm right now, Clayton is, and he's been making great decisions as a passer. His awareness of knowing where to go with the football and when to run in the zone read and run pass option package has been outstanding all year long.
2nd and 1. Jeremy Larkin, the redshirt freshman out of Cincinnati, is dropped right at the line of scrimmage, 3rd and short, as we look at impact players for Northwestern.
Yeah, Justin Jackson, a complete running back with the ability to do anything. And Macon Wilson has really come on. He's a crafty, tough target that can play inside or outside and knack for getting open and on the other side of the ball. This linebacking core for the Spartans is outstanding. Bocce with good instincts inside of the box. And Chris Fry, an instinctive defender with super reaction skills on the outside edge.
On 3rd and short. They'll give it to Jackson. And he's able to get the first down. Northwestern began the season 2-3. 2 of the losses to Wisconsin and Penn State. Both teams currently ranked in the top 5. But Pat Fitzgerald Wildcats have bounced back. 2 straight wins. They beat Maryland on the road. And then an overtime win against Iowa last week. Thorson to Ramon Jaukio Bowman. Ball comes out at the end of the play, but they'll say that he was down. And Bowman with a first down.
Rolling on the field as the runner was down.
For Northwestern.
This is a close call. This may be one they want to review. And outstanding job and awareness by Andrew Dowell.
It looks like that knee is down before the ball comes out.
The ruling on the previous play was the runner was down. That play is under further review.
Now there was an immediate recovery in the aftermath of that fumble. And Michigan State did cover it up. But on that first look, it appeared Jaukio Bowman had his knee down before that ball came out.
Now let's take a good look here. You can't tell if his knee's down right there. But I'm not so sure that he had possession of that ball. And unless we have an angle from the top, it'll be hard to overturn this call. Now this is a great angle. That ball is out before the knee. I think this is going to be reversed, and from what it looks like right there with a wonderful angle from our camera crew.
Now the knee's down right there.
The ball's out. He doesn't appear to have control to me. Dowell doing an excellent job there raking the football out, and that ball's out, and the knee's not on the ground. This is going to be a close call.
You need indisputable video evidence to overturn the call in your eyes from that angle. That qualifies to you as indisputable.
I think that's Spartans ball.
Yep.
Guys, they're showing it on the big screen down here. Michigan State's been taking a good hard look, and their defense is making the motion. They think they've got this ball. And on the big screen, Ahmad, I think you're right. I think the ball's out before the knee's down.
Kenny Willekes recovered the fumble. Andrew Dowell ripped it out. We'll talk more about the linebackers for both these teams. Just 2 outstanding units. Andrew Dowell, that star linebacker, essentially that hybrid linebacker safety.
He's fun to watch. So athletic.
After review, the ball came loose before the runner's knee touched the ground. It will be Michigan State's ball. 1st and 10 at the 28-yard line. Please adjust the game clock to 9:19. 9:19.
What a key takeaway from the Big Ten's best defense statistically. And an outstanding play by Andrew Dowell. of not giving up on the play. And now the Spartans offense is back out on the field after scoring on their first drive.
That's tough for Pat Fitzgerald. You've got Jalkeo Bowman, a redshirt freshman. You're trying to find playmakers in the receiving game, and a costly turnover. First touch of the game for L.J. Scott, the junior, and he is ambushed for a loss of a yard by Patty Fisher. And Ahmad, you're a Texan, Fisher's a Texan. Let's call a spade a spade. You've got a man crush on this kid.
You can call it that, Anish, and I'm okay with that. I think he's the best defensive freshman in the entire country. This is a young man that has outstanding instincts, does a great job, and he'll have his hands full today taking on L.J. Scott, but you see him there. Patty Fisher from Katy, Texas, from a renowned program out of Texas, won a state title there in Texas, and is making a name for himself in the Big Ten.
On second down against the blitz, Lewerke. That is brought in by Connor Hayward with one hand as we check in with Adnan. Wow. Now, revenge was supposed to be a factor for Ohio State as it's 3rd and 6 for Lewerke and the Spartans. Lewerke's got some room to run. Angles across the 40 and out of bounds near midfield. A first down for Brian Lewerke, who already has more rushing yards than any other quarterback in the Mark D'Antonio era.
Somewhere Mike Hankwitz, defensive coordinator for Northwestern, is pulling his hair out. They had a 3-man rush. They actually dropped 8 defenders. And this is what happens when you've got a dual-threat quarterback like Lewerke. You can have the perfect play call, and he can still beat you.
It's a gain of 19, 1st and 10 from the Wildcat 49. Darrell Stewart on the fly sweep. He's got a blocker. Stewart with a first down, all the way to the 30, a gain of 19 more.
I've been very impressed watching Darrell Stewart, young man out of Houston. Great wiggle, tremendous breakaway speed. Big play for the Spartans.
L.J. Scott out of the offset I, and he is spun down at the 26, a gain of 4. You watch Scott, his size, his patience. Even the Michigan State coaches told us he reminds you of Le'Veon Bell. The production is not quite caught up to Bell compared to what Bell did in his junior year with the Spartans.
Absolutely. Very similar skill set. He's just waiting to break out like Bell did, but this is a young man that is certainly on the NFL radar.
They'll go back to Scott. Couple of yards shy of the marker, 3rd down. L.J. Scott had an issue with his driver's license last week before the Indiana game. He had to get it sorted out. His eligibility, or I should say, his status for that game was in question. But Mark D'Antonio said all the white noise surrounding that, it was more external, internal. They had been wanting to get it sorted out for some time, and we're told it's been taken care of. It's been taken care of for good. On 3rd down, design QB run, and Lewerke moves the chains.
Great play call. And as you look at this offense, quarterback power there is a play that in the past, maybe you don't rely on it on 3rd and short situations, but we've seen here already early on in this first quarter, Brian Lewerke's ability to dissect the defense and to utilize his feet as a weapon for this offense.
A lot of encouraging signs for this Michigan State offense. There's the toss to Scott. Brought it in with one arm. Ball comes out at the end of the play.
Tackle by Patty Fisher.
It's a gain of 5. Michigan State able to cover it up.
Game 6 on the play, 2nd and 4, Michigan State on the Northwestern 12-yard line.
That ball was clearly out. It's a fortunate bounce there and a great effort there by the center, the senior, Brian Allen, to recover that ball.
Allen, the leader, not just on that offensive line, but on that offense, the lone senior starter. Here's White. Got a block from Davis. The ball is out again. Northwestern has it. A red zone turnover by Michigan State.
Ouch. That's the only thing that could have stopped this offense. The rhythm and the way they are rolling has been fantastic in their first and second drive. Patty Fisher once again creating the fumble in consecutive plays, this time Wildcats football.
ESPN College Football is presented by PlayStation Vue. Watch the biggest moments in sports. Try it free today. And in part by Lexus. Experience a comprehensive suite of safety features standard.
Dyke Stadium renamed Ryan Field in 1997, the home of Northwestern football since 1926. Both teams have turned it over here in this first quarter. Michigan State with a red zone turnover, and Northwestern begins at its own 7. Justin Jackson looking for running room, reverses direction, and is bottled up at the line of scrimmage. And this Spartan defense allowing just 51 yards on the ground per game in conference play.
No gain, 2nd and 10.
There's Nagel on the drag route and turned back by Bocci. We've got a flag on the play. Penalty marker down at the 2-yard line.
Flag on the play.
Personal foul, hands to the face, defense number 98, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And that's Demetrius Cooper, the 5th-year senior from Chicago.
He's probably a little overamped here, playing in front of the home crowd, but that penalty really does stub the Spartans' toe. We'll see it here at the matchup between he and Blake Hance.
So instead of 3rd down, it's 1st and 10. Thorson got rid of it quickly. There's Jackson. Adnan again. They've got that big win already against Oklahoma, as Jackson picks up a first down to the 40 for Northwestern. Now the Matt Campbell stock continues to rise.
He's unbelievable, and you know, we had him last year, and I have been impressed with his body of work since he's been in Ames.
Against a 3-man rush. And a nice pickup toward midfield. That's Macon Wilson with his first catch of the game. Pat Fitzgerald had told us 2 weeks ago when we had the Maryland game, Wilson needed to play better, and he's responded. 5 catches in back-to-back games. This is Thorson on the keeper, and he is wiped out in the backfield. Jacob Panashuk, he and his brother Mike, part of that Michigan State defensive line, and it's 3rd down.
That's just an incredible play by Panashuk. Holding tight, making sure he keeps contained, And he was not fooled by the fake to Justin Jackson, holding true to his responsibility, not allowing Thorson to get outside and to convert on that second down.
Now 3rd and 3. Michigan State, one of the best third down defenses in the country. Incomplete, broken up, intended for Nagel. Andrew Dowell was there, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, if you are a Wildcats fan sitting at home, certainly a little handsy there, as Dowell does not get called. But you'll see the matchup here on the inside the slot, and Dowell, does he get there a little bit early? It appears as though the contact there, absolutely. The contact was early, the official letting him play. No pass interference call there.
Hunter Nicewander had an 80-yard punt last week, and this one is fair caught by Cody White. 7-0 Michigan State on top of Northwestern. The Spartans get the ball back when we come back. Tonight at 8 Eastern on ABC or ESPN2, Georgia Tech and Clemson. That Georgia Tech option going up against that stout Clemson defensive line. And then you've got Texas Tech and number 10 Oklahoma. Both games again on ABC or ESPN2. Check local listings. Lewerke goes right back to White, who fumbled it away last time. And this time, tornadoes across the 30 for a first down. Patty Fisher on the stop. Roddy, for Michigan State, getting here was a little unusual.
It was a little more adventurous than typical. Michigan State was originally supposed to fly here. They were supposed to leave at 11:30 and arrive by 12:30. But once they got on the plane and got on the runway, they got up to about 3/4 speed. And when that happened, a light came on, so they had to come back. They tried it again, and then they just made the decision to go ahead and drive. So they arrived here around 7:30 last night, and it was quite the journey for them to get here. Their entire schedule was thrown off. They were supposed to have a walkthrough. They didn't. So a little bit of an adventure, but it looks like it hasn't affected them at all.
Yeah, and I'm shocked by that. And you got to give the head coach, Mark D'Antonio, credit there, because he has his team prepared. Because the reality of it is, Roddy, you know that athletes are creatures of habit, and anytime you get thrown off, it can really put a wrench in your plans.
On second down, Lewerke to the air. He's got Felton Davis in the Wildcat territory as we check in again with Adnan.
Tackle by Alonzo Mayo. 29 on the play, first and 10 Michigan State on the Northwestern 39-yard line.
All right, Adnan. Hopefully at some point we can show you Ahmad Brooks and his top 4 and top 6 in the college football playoff rankings. He is high on Notre Dame and not so high on a team that beat Notre Dame.
By 1 point.
Lewerke down the seam, nearly intercepted by Montre Hardage.
Oh my goodness. Montre, my man, the top cornerback here for the Wildcats, just dropped a big one. You won't get a better opportunity thrown your way. And when you start to look at it, in 16, 5 interceptions, which was second in the Big Ten. I mean, just right there. And, oh, that's one of those plays that you hope it doesn't affect him down the road, because when you drop a ball like that, it's hard to forget about during the course of a game.
Lewerke gets away with one. Second down. Stewart around the bend and out of bounds. Brian Lewerke had not made a mistake up until that point, and that's the inconsistency we've seen in Lewerke, a first-year starter.
You're right. I mean, right now, 8 of 11, 140 yards, 1 touchdown, hadn't thrown an interception, and he should be very grateful for Montre Hardage there, but he's certainly playing like a veteran. He's making great decisions, and he is activating his athleticism at the right time, buying time, extending plays, doing a great job.
Michigan State with about 200 yards of total offense in the first quarter. Their offense picking up where they left off last week, and Mark D'Antonio's team has a 7-0 lead.
Of Top 25 Ranking Show, Tuesday at 7 on ESPN, presented by Allstate.
College football playoff rankings revealed on Halloween. We are in the shadow of Chicago. The start of the second quarter at Northwestern's Ryan Field, Michigan State. Having success through the air and facing a 3rd and 9 as we begin quarter number 2. Wildcats bring the blitz. Lewerke sacked by Joe Gaziano, who has been living in the opponent's backfield in the last few weeks.
And part of that has been his technique and his timing. This is a perfect job of constricting the pocket. You see how he forces the tackle back into the quarterback, preventing Lewerke from breaking the pocket in the front door and in the back. And then the finish on the play. Oftentimes, defensive linemen really struggle bringing down much more athletic quarterbacks. Gaziano not having it on 3rd down. That is a tremendous play for this team.
6th sack of the season for Gaziano. Hartbarger's punt. Bounces at the 5, downed at the 1-yard line. A superb special teams play by Michigan State.
Wow. Flipping field position. This is the name of the game, especially after a big sack from the Wildcats. Look at the balance there from the big fella.
Colin Kafflish. Remember, it's if the ball crosses the goal line. Has nothing to do with where the player was. Now the question is, did the ball cross the goal line? And watch Kafflish. He's got the ball, and
that's your long snapper.
Yeah.
Snapping the ball, getting downfield. Excellent coverage there on the part of the Spartans.
Spartans will play the field position game. Northwestern backed up. Thorson gets some breathing room, 2nd down. Clayton Thorson, 21 career wins, 2nd all-time at Northwestern. He can tie Brett Bazinet if the Wildcats win today. Justin Jackson swallowed up at the line of scrimmage, 3rd and long.
What you weren't able to see there was the middle linebacker for the Spartans, Joe Bacci, calling out the play, pointing to the direction of the play, and he immediately attacked the line of scrimmage to where the ball was going. Watch Bacci in the middle of your field. He knows exactly where this play is going, and the coaching staff bragged on him constantly about his ability to see the game and to study film, paying off there for the sophomore.
Thorson to throw. Downfield. Incomplete. Justin Lane came back to it for Michigan State. And now the Wildcats will have to punt from their own end zone.
Go back to that punt. Man, flipping the field position, and now you're going to have a short field for your offense. And the one thing about this Spartans punt return unit, they have gone through 4 different punt returners. And now you see number 7 back there, Cody White, getting ready to field this punt. They thought he did a decent job last week, and he won the job.
White from the 45. Slips. And he's going to be dropped, a negative return. And Michigan State will begin in its own territory after a nice punt by Niswander.
In college football, brought to you by Pizza Hut, the best pizza delivery deal. Order today with a large 2-topping pizza for just $7.99.
Northwestern's prestigious Medill School of Journalism. Many of our ESPN colleagues are alums, including Mike Greenberg, Michael Wilbon, Rachel Nichols, Adam Schefter, Cassidy Hubbard. Adnan Verk has a studio update after this play. He is not a alum of the Medill School. Here's Connor Hayward. Out of bounds into Wildcat territory. We still love you, Adnan. Ahmad, Georgia is not in your top 4.
No, they're not. They're beating Florida, for Pete's sakes. Come on, my man.
I fail to see the logic in it, but
It's okay. I'll help you out there, man. It's my job.
Lewerke, quarterback draw. He's played well. Got away with one throw on the last drive that was not intercepted. 141 yards through the air. He's run it a couple of times. He's got 21 yards on the ground. And, of course, you got to factor in the sack in the college game. Now, this is an offense that has been held to less than 20 points in 4 of the last 5 games. They scored only 17 in the win against Indiana last week. But in the fourth quarter, especially the last couple of drives, you saw some life. You saw potential energy from some of the freshmen start to go kinetic. This is Madre London, the fourth-year junior, east of the 34, tackled by Patty Fisher. 42 in black. Has a chance to have a great career here in Evanston. His head coach, Pat Fitzgerald, called Fisher a generational talent. And Roddy Fitzgerald even went on to say that Patty Fisher's got a chance to be the best linebacker to come out of Northwestern. I don't know, the guy on the headsets is pretty good.
I know. We kind of pushed him on that a little bit. I said, are you sure about that, Coach? I mean, you were a pretty good player. And he said, yeah, but I only had to play in a box about as big as this room. Patty's got to play all over the field.
This is London.
Yeah, and the admiration that Patty actually has for Pat Fitzgerald, you wonder how a kid from Texas could end up here at Northwestern. And his answer was very simple. Pat Fitzgerald. He says he loves everything about him. When he walks into the linebacking room, everybody listens. And it's the respect that he has for him that actually brought him to this university via Texas.
Pat Fitzgerald had talked about his heavy hands. Hits like a boxer. He's got 2 forced fumbles today. It's 3rd down and 2 for the Spartans. White in motion. Lewerke will keep it. And he's going to be stopped shy of the marker. 4th down. And now a decision for Mark D'Antonio.
The way that they've been rolling right now, I have a feeling they're sending out their punt unit, but I would not have been surprised had they gone for it here. And in fact, you know, that's the situation when your offense is rolling the way that they are and the success that they're having on the ground. Pardon me, the kicking unit for their field goal. They've already gotten 68 yards on the ground compared to the 9 for the Wildcats.
This would be a career long for Matt Coughlin, the redshirt freshman out of Cincinnati, from 46. And it's good, just enough distance. And Michigan State tacks on 3 more. Mark D'Antonio calls Coughlin McMuffin 10-0. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I had a chance yesterday to speak with Justin Jackson about that. It hits close to home for both of us.
Having an event like losing my mom when I was 3, it means a lot. You know, a lot of times in high school, you know, it'll be all decked out in the pink and everything, but yeah, I mean, going through that was a lot for, you know, myself and my family. More so for my family, obviously, because I was very young. But it's just something that, you know, it's a little memory, you know, time that we can kind of reflect back on what that meant for our family. And honestly, the way that we persevered through it, I know that she's looking down and that she would be proud because of not only myself and my siblings, the people we've turned out to be off the field, really. I think that's what she would have cared about most is, you know, the men and women that we've become. So that's something that I can, you know, look back and be proud on and continue to strive to do, is be that great person.
We were able to have a heartfelt conversation. I lost my mom to breast cancer when I was 17, Justin when he was 3, and so much came up. Surrogate mothers who pop up in your life, the triggers could be small things that remind you, and the best compliment anybody can pay you when somebody says you made your mom proud.
Absolutely. And how could you not be proud of that young man and all that he's accomplished? But it's his humility, much like yours, my friend, even talking about the incident and how this affects people all across the country and around the world.
This is Flynn Nagel, broke the initial tackle and then runs into that Spartan phalanx. We've got a flag on the play.
Offside. Defense number 98. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
There's Justin's dad, Phil Jackson. And Justin lost his mom, Denise, when he was 3. Phil remarried, and Justin talked a lot about the role his stepmom has had, what she's meant to their family. And you talk about getting through the fire, going through that adversity, and that's a young man who has made his mother proud in so many ways. This is Riley Lease. Able to slip a couple of tackles, but only a pickup of 2. Spending time with Justin yesterday, what strikes you is how well-rounded he is. So much more than a football player, and a great football player. He speaks French. High GPA, as Roddy talked about in the open. Thorson over the middle, diving catch made by Lease. First and 10 Northwestern into Spartan territory. Thorson to the air, steps up, checks down, incomplete, second down. And 10 for Justin Jackson. Now, he talked about the relationship he has, not just with his immediate family, his extended family. His brothers played Division II football at Northwest Missouri State. Got a couple of cousins who play college basketball. A lot of competitive fire in that family. Thorson's going to take a shot downfield. Nearly intercepted. It's broken up by the true freshman, Josiah Scott.
And this is great coverage here. And Macon Wilson is the reason he didn't haul it in. You see him there at the top of your screen. Just a great battle. And Thorson going to the one-on-one matchup. Perhaps could have led his wide receiver just a little bit more, but give the defensive back credit, being in the proper position and completing the play. Scott there, preventing his team from getting up a big play.
Third down now, Michigan State rotating its front. A 4-man twist. Jackson on the screen. Makes one man miss. Pinballs off a couple of defenders, and he appears to have the first down. Pat Fitzgerald told us Northwestern has to make Michigan State play in space. A great example.
That was an outstanding finish by Justin Jackson. Only has 8 yards on the ground right now, currently on 5 carries. But there you see how difficult he is to line up for direct shots. He's got this wiry strength that he utilized on that play to get the first down.
First and 10 from the 39. Back to Jackson. And he is tackled by Justin Lane. The Michigan State corner had a pick 6 against Northwestern last year.
Guys, when we talked to Justin Jackson yesterday and we asked him who are some of the running backs that you like to watch, he mentioned LaShawn McCoy and your favorite running back, Anish, Barry Sanders, as guys he likes to emulate. And then on that series, he's gotten out in space and it's really kind of looked like him, making people miss.
Over the middle, Riley Lease for a first down. And the other thing, Roddy, you noticed this in pregame, his knee brace is off. Jackson had been banged up early in the season. Last couple of weeks, he's shown he's back to 100%, or at least close to 50-plus carries the last 2 games, and now the knee brace is off. This one is juggled and dropped. Second down.
Thorson's pass is
And then
complete. Intended for Carrick McGowan. Andrew McDowell on the cover. Second and 10 Northwestern on the Michigan State 24-yard line.
Is the Heisman race over?
I mean, he's my guy. I know Roddy and I both feel strongly about him holding the #1 spot currently for the Heisman hardware.
Yeah, I think you're right, Ahmad. I mean, you just look at what he's done in the big games, and he's been incredible.
This is Garrett Dickerson, the super back. And he gives Northwestern a first and goal.
And he also brings an element of athleticism and toughness to their super back position, which is a lot like the tight end position. Coming into the game second on the team in receiving yards, showing how versatile he can be, working the middle of the field, coming across on a crosser, and then finishing off the play and setting up this offense inside of the 5 with an opportunity to get their first points of the ball game.
On the ground, Jackson reaching forward, got a couple. Justin Jackson has 37 career touchdowns. He needs one more to tie Damian Anderson's school record of 38.
They have one on the play, second down. Goal to go Northwestern on the Michigan State 2-yard line.
The toss to Jackson. Ambushed in the backfield, Joe Bocci, Defensive Player of the Week in the Big Ten in 2 of the last 3 weeks.
Wow. And this entire linebacking core were explosive offensive players in high school, just highlighting their athletic ability and their talent. And that time they're just scraping right off the rear end of the offensive lineman and flying to the football. This team tried to mix it up by going toss sweep instead of going right up the middle, but the Spartans having none of it.
Bocci used to return kicks, played shortstop and point guard. On 3rd and goal, Thorson. He has Jackson, who is stopped at the 1. It brings up a 4th and goal, and if you're Pat Fitzgerald, do you take the points or do you go for it?
I'd go for it. Yeah, when you're in striking distance like this, they brought in their big boy package, and it looks like that's exactly what the Wildcats are going to do. And keep in mind, Clayton Thorson is 6'4", 220 pounds. If you can't get a yard on the goal line, that's a crying shame.
Timeout, Mark D'Antonio.
Michigan State.
Big 4th
This is their
and
first
goal
of the
as
half.
Northwestern tries to get on the board. Here it's 10-0 Michigan State, 4th and goal for Northwestern. They beat Iowa last week in overtime on a quarterback sneak by Clayton Thorson. Thorson will try to sneak it in. Does he get the push? He does, and it's a touchdown. The Wildcats are on the board.
That's a gutsy call from their coach, Pat Fitzgerald, but it's the right one. And Thorson there gets the push from his running back, Justin Jackson. And on the year, they are 13 of 22 on 4th down. Only Syracuse has more 4th down attempts, and that's 25.
Plays, 81 yards. PAT is good by Kubander. Thorson on the quarterback keeper, and guess who gave him a little push?
Yeah, Justin Jackson. the all-around back. And the defense for the Spartans had held opponents scoreless in the second quarter the last 3 games. Not this time.
Taco Bell is a proud partner of the College Football Playoff. Be on the lookout for Taco Bell student sections and passionate fans like these at games all season long. Nish Shroff, Ahmad Brooks, Roddy Jones down on the field. You see a lot of green in the stands, Roddy.
You definitely do, and it doesn't quite sound like a neutral site game, but Michigan State certainly has been loud, and they're out in full force.
A lot of Michigan State alums in the Chicago area. Hayward taken down at the 25. Here's Adnan.
Connor Hayward on the return.
Looks like we will have Adnan momentarily. He's working on his movie lines and Canada references with Jesse.
Awesome.
Got a good podcast. You listen to Cinephile?
I do not.
Yeah. Get some big-time guests. He's Mr. Movie Star.
Check it out.
Yeah. Might be booking De Niro as we speak. Stewart in the flat. And he is upended by Warren Long, the converted running back. Nate Hall, who had been playing well for Northwestern, out of the game, Roddy.
Yeah, he's been taken to the locker room, I'm told, with a cut on his hand. He's likely to return, but because they're trying to address that cut, it probably won't be until after halftime is what I'm told.
Hall came into the game with 29 tackles in his last 3 contests. He's the most experienced Northwestern linebacker. On second down, there's L.J. Scott wrapped up from behind by Jordan Thompson.
L.J. Scott, ball carrier.
Let's see where they mark this.
By Jordan Thompson.
Enough to move the chains. First down, Michigan State.
You have 2 on the line. First and 10, Michigan State. On the 36-yard line.
Michigan State's offense had almost 200 yards in the first quarter. Less than 20 here in the second. Scott thrown for a loss, second and long. Spartans with both timeouts. Northwestern has all 3.
Loss of 1 on the play. Second and 11, Michigan State on their own 35-yard line.
You know, guys, what's been really interesting to me is that coming in, we thought both of these teams were power-running football teams, and it seems like the other team expected it as well. So the offenses have done most of their damage through the air. I think whoever's going to win this game is the team that gets it going on the ground first, and Michigan State's tried to get it going early in this drive.
And now we get a timeout from Pat Fitzgerald.
Northwestern. This is their first of the half.
Has 2 left.
This is a 30-second timeout.
And Roddy, to your point, I think you're absolutely right. Michigan State at this point, 70 yards on the ground. For Northwestern, the shocking number, only 8 yards on the ground. And when you start to look at their yards per rush, they're not even averaging a yard per rush, the Wildcats, at 0.7. And on the opposite side, Michigan State averaging 4.1. That's been the difference in this ballgame.
Spartans moved the ball through the air early. Cody White had a big catch. And then White, a 6-yard touchdown reception. Patty Fisher, Ahmad, 2 forced fumbles in the first half.
Yeah, he just finds the football. Does a fine job here of getting there and raking the football out. Comes back on a consecutive play, getting it. But this was the play that Northwestern needed to be able to punch it in there at the goal line.
That was on 4th and goal. Both quarterbacks have played well, and that's what Roddy was talking about. You expect these 2 teams to come out running the ball. Success offensively has been had through the air. We're working on second down. Incomplete. White had fallen down. There's no flag, and it's 3rd and long. Cody White, 4 catches, 83 yards, and a TD for Michigan State. A terrific athlete who played basketball, center field, and baseball. He was a high jump champ. His dad, Sheldon, is Michigan State's executive director of player personnel and recruiting, and was an NFL defensive back who spent 19 years in the Detroit front office. 3rd and 11. Lewerke over the middle, tipped, and nearly picked by the all-conference safety, Godwin Igwebuike.
And that was Godwin Igwebuike with the pass. First down. 4th and 11, Michigan State on their own 35-yard line.
That's 2 that Northwestern nearly intercepted. That one a little harder than the one dropped by Montre Hardage. And now it'll be Hartbarger to punt it away. Lease will let this one bounce. And it'll die at the 26. Adnan has lined up his guest for Cinephile.
Will start 1st and 10.
There you go. We were talking about movies on the way in. You need a movie recommendation. Talk to Adnan.
I love it. I'm going to have to come up with a clever comeback for that one.
Justin Jackson juggles, cannot hold on. Jackson, the leading receiver for Northwestern in this first half.
Yeah, they've had to target him through the air because right now, this Michigan State Spartans defense has been stingy and stout when it comes to stopping the run. 8 yards on the ground for the Wildcats.
And that's on 11 carries. This Michigan State D, they held Iowa to 19 rushing yards.
It's amazing.
Fewest by the Hawkeyes since 2005. Thorson again checks down to Jackson. That's been the play. And Jackson a first down to the 40.
Going back to how swift and smooth he is when cutting. Excellent job of jump cutting and getting in and out of his breaks as he moves the chains.
Wildcats going quickly. Here's the pressure. Thorson steps up and caught from behind after a short gain. Kenny Willekes, the former walk-on, turned starting D-end with the stop.
It was a great change of direction there from Kenny Willekes to come back and chase down Thorson.
We come up on a minute to play, a 3-man rush. Thorson. Here's Jackson again, slips one tackle. Clock will continue to run. 3rd down coming up. Less than a minute to play in this first half. The Wildcats have 2 timeouts.
Big 3rd down here. I wouldn't go for chunk yardage. I would just try to convert here. Simple stick routes, maybe even slants.
Here's Bennett Skowronek, and he picks up the first down that will momentarily stop the clock. Timeout Northwestern, 41 seconds. First catch for Skowronek,
this is their second of the
team's leading receiver. We look at our Wells Fargo innovations of better. Northwestern has been working with virtual reality training for 2.5 seasons. They record every snap of practice with a 360-degree camera on the end of the stick. Quarterback Clayton Thorson spends several hours per week reviewing his practice film with audio from this perspective, using the VR goggles and a control pad. Other schools do this. Stanford uses it as well. Technology has really changed how you can prepare for a game.
That's just next level right there. I mean, you know, and what I love about it is it allows the quarterback to go back and to do exactly what he would on the field. And oftentimes you don't get that in film study, but a great use of technology here by the Wildcats.
1st and 10, Wildcats in Spartans territory. Thorson completes. That appears to be a first down. That is Dickerson. Clock stopped with 35 seconds. It'll start on the official signal.
Yeah, this drive is huge here, and Thorson has saved his best for the latter part of this quarter.
Thorson downfield, caught by Skowronek. A first down inside the 20. 22 seconds, clock again. We'll start on the ref signal. And Thorson will spike it. 19 seconds left. They'll say 18 seconds here in this first half.
That was an outstanding throw by Thorson on the previous play. The pocket starts to constrict, but watch, he's off balance and still manages to squeeze this ball in. That's a big-time NFL throw in a critical situation in the ball game during 2 minutes, and now puts your team in field goal range.
18 seconds left in the half. Wildcats have a timeout. Thorson incomplete for Dickerson. So it'll be third down. Charlie Kubander is the kicker for Northwestern. His career long is 40.
Here's what you don't want to do if you're the Wildcats. Don't force anything here. Thorson, 5 of 7 on the drive for 53 yards. You need points here to go in with some good confidence moving into halftime.
Michigan State. This is their second of the half. This is a 30-second timeout.
The ESPN app is a fan's best friend. Stream every ESPN and ABC college football game live at home or on the go. You get access to scores, news, highlights all season long. Download the ESPN app to start streaming it now. Sparty's fired up. Michigan State with a 3-point lead. Northwestern in position to tie this game before halftime. Interestingly enough, the Wildcats, with that 4-3 record, they are a favorite in each of the remaining games according to ESPN's Football Power Index. Michigan State has a gauntlet after this. They've got Penn State and Ohio State in November. Wildcats have a timeout, 14 seconds. Thorson, he's going to go for 6. And now the kicking team will come on.
Yeah, I don't think that's a wasted opportunity, and great protection there on the blitz on the part of this Wildcats offensive line, and also Justin Jackson staying in for max protect. It gave Thorson the time needed to try to find his tallest target on the field, Skoranek.
36-yard field goal attempt coming up for Kubander. He has made 7 in a row. For the tie. We are locked up at 10 with 4 seconds to go here in this first half. And it's come in many ways as advertised.
Well, I mean, you've got to give the Wildcats credit. At one point, it looked like Michigan State was off to the races, no doubt about it. And they continued to fight. They pieced together some drives, and what they were able to do now puts them locked at 10 with the Spartans.
Let's take a look at this week's college football rankings brought to you by PlayStation. Here's the AP poll. On Tuesday, it's Halloween, and the first college football playoff rankings will be revealed. Alabama sitting at 1. How about Penn State in Columbus, up 28-10. James Franklin and the Nittany Lions looking to end Ohio State's dream of getting back to the college football playoff. Georgia rolling against Florida. Iowa State, could they do it again? Leading TCU by 2 touchdowns. You look at Wisconsin, Ahmad. Not a lot of resistance left on that schedule. They've got a great shot at getting to Indianapolis in the Big Ten championship game undefeated.
Yeah, but I think their schedule is going to hurt them down the road for sure.
Squib kick. And it's covered up at the 23.
And in fact, one of our colleagues, Joey Galloway, went on record this week to say that an undefeated Wisconsin team would still be left out of college football playoff.
I love you, Joey, but wouldn't that mean they beat a Penn State, or if Ohio State comes back, maybe even a Michigan State in the Big Ten championship?
Well, I think the point he was trying to make is if there is a one-loss Penn State team, and despite them with the head-to-head matchup, depending on how close that game is, I could see how maybe their body of work is still better than Penn State.
That might be a conversation for halftime. We're about to find out our halftime score here in Evanston. It's 10-10 between Michigan State and Northwestern. We take you to the studio now. Adnan Virk, Joey Galloway, and Jesse Palmer with all the highlights from around the nation. ESPN College Football is presented by PlayStation Vue. We expected this to be a hard-fought defensive struggle. It's been that for the most part. Michigan State and Northwestern tied at 10 as we get ready for the third quarter. Anish Shroff, Ahmad Brooks. We'll hear from Ronnie Jones in a minute. Michigan State started strong in the first half. Northwestern finished strong.
Well, it's been a tale of two quarters, and it really changed the momentum when the Spartans fumbled inside of their 5-yard line, and then in the second quarter, it was completely dominated by the Wildcats, holding the Spartans to 20 yards, scoring on consecutive drives, and now we've got a ball game.
We expected both teams to run the ball. Both teams have had more success throwing the ball. Northwestern to receive to begin the third quarter. Down to Roddy.
Anish, I talked to head coach Pat Fitzgerald just a second ago, and I asked him about the fact that they had all the momentum going into halftime. What was the difference? He said, simply, we just made plays. When I asked him about Justin Jackson, the ability that they haven't gotten him going on the ground, he said they're packing the box. His words were, they have 28 guys in the box, so we've got to make plays down the field. We've been able to get him the ball in the pass game, and he's made a ton of people miss. Mark D'Antonio mentioned that to me as well. He said they've got to tackle 21 in the open field.
For Northwestern, the coaches told us that was the key to attacking this Michigan State defense. Make the Spartans play in space. Thorson, as Flynn Nagel uses the stiff arm and takes it across the 40, a gain of 18 on the first play from scrimmage in this third quarter.
And that's what happened when you do exactly what Roddy said they were doing, which is jamming the box. Now you leave this huge hole in the middle of the field that Northwestern can take advantage of with in-breaking routes and seam routes in particular.
Thorson, 21 of 29. Going downfield, has a receiver, and it's broken up by Scott. That's two nice plays downfield by the true freshman.
That was a brilliant defensive black play. You watch the replay here, no panic in this game whatsoever as the Wildcats taking a shot early on in this ball game. I mean, perfect timing. His hands went up as the wide receiver's hands went up, and he just raked that ball through his hands. Josiah Scott, as you said, Anish, with two outstanding plays and man-to-man coverage on the edge.
He was an early enrollee, opened a lot of eyes in the spring. Jackson slowed, stays on his feet. A couple of cutbacks later, he's to midfield, turning nothing into a gain of 6.
Wow. I mean, and, without the knee brace today, and, he's just a pick and stab type of running back and has the vision to bounce the ball effectively well, as you just saw there. But a very smooth cutter, very swift, and hard to get that line that you're trying to look for as a defender to get a good shot on him. And now you've got a third down with a bunch formation down here. More than likely, they are going to come to the bottom side of the field, maybe with an in-breaking route where they've had success.
That run put Jackson into 8th place on the Big Ten's all-time rushing list as Nagel picks up a first down. Man down for Michigan State.
It's an official timeout for an injury. Injury timeout.
A key cog in the Spartan defense, middle linebacker Joe Bacci.
That is not a good sign. And that guy's as tough as rusty nails. So for him to go down, something must really be hurting.
He had 13 tackles, a sack, and a forced fumble last week against Indiana. Join us Week 8 with Sunday NFL Countdown at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. Sam Ponder and the guys give you an all-access look inside the lines with Philadelphia Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz. Monday Night Football It's the Broncos and the Chiefs. Kansas City's all-time leading rusher, Jamal Charles, returns to KC as a member of Denver. And oh, by the way, Chiefs got a pretty good running back right now in Kareem Hunt, the rookie leading the NFL in rushing.
Ball.
You and I got to see, by the way, Carson Wentz at North Dakota State. Looked the part then and has blossomed into a full-fledged star in season 2. Cameron Green. Turbo's ahead across the 35. He's close to a first down, and he's got a first down.
Pressure here on the quarterback just doesn't phase Thorson. They've got the RPO package on run-pass option, and he makes a great decision there going to the outside edge for a good pickup.
Thorson buying time with his feet. Throws on the run, and that is dropped. Skoranek, the intended target.
Oh my goodness. I mean, yeah, you're a sophomore wide receiver trying to find your way. Thorson doing a good job of getting outside the pocket, moving to where he's most comfortable to his right. Throws a dart right on target. And if you're Skoranek, you've got to be able to win the trust of your quarterback by making those types of catches, which would have led to a first down. The sophomore struggling there to haul it in.
This time it is dropped by Charlie Fessler. It'll bring up third down. About early this season, Northwestern had a lot of struggles up front. This offensive line has played much better the last couple of weeks. I thought they played pretty well in the first half, too, protecting Thorson.
I couldn't agree with you more, and this is a stout group that they are taking on right now, but that's the 5th drop for the Northwestern team. And that's been the difference, and that's why they're faced here with a 3rd and long situation.
Thorson in traffic. Skoranek unable to hang on. And it's 4th down. You've got the ball at the 34-yard line. It's a 50-plus yard field goal from here. And let's see what Pat Fitzgerald does. He's going to go to the punter, Niswander. In a game like this, you can understand playing the field position game, but that's a missed opportunity for Northwestern.
Tremendously missed opportunity. You have 2 consecutive drops that would at least chipped away at the sticks or maybe even gotten a first down, but they come away with nothing.
Niswander's punt, a beauty. Out of bounds inside the 10. Michigan State will begin at its own 7. The Deering Library in the backdrop as you're watching the Big Ten on ESPN. A cloudy October canopy over Ryan Field. And we've got a tie ball game here in the 3rd quarter, 10-10. Michigan State with the ball. The Spartans unbeaten in conference play with Penn State and Ohio State the first 2 games in November. Gerald Holmes with a pickup of 3. The 5th-year senior missed the last 2 games with an ankle injury.
And this Spartans offense has struggled to score in the 3rd quarter. Their previous 5 games, they have not scored a 3rd quarter touchdown in the last 5 games.
Brian Lewerke to throw. Downfield for Stewart, who was open. The throw a little too far out in front.
Yeah, just flat out missed an opportunity there as Trey Williams was beat on the play. And they actually could have probably called him for pass interference here. And he just lets the wide receiver get behind him in coverage. And that's a play you've got to make if you're Lewerke. And he's been clean on the day. 10 of 16, 149 yards, no turnovers, though. He did have a dropped interception. But those are the types of plays that if you want to take your game to the next level, you've got to make.
Holmes goes wide. Out of the empty look. Lewerke pumping. Throwing. That was nearly picked. And somehow Holmes was able to bring it in. I don't know how he got that through two black shirts.
Oh, well, I think it was the effort, obviously, on the running back, Gerald Holmes. Watch how hungry he is for the football here. Outstanding catch. And if you're the two defensive backs for the Wildcats, you're looking around going, wow, we just missed an opportunity. But the running back, Gerald Holmes, making what may be the catch of the game, helping them move the chains. And if they score here, you'll look back to that play as a reason why.
Out of the I formation, 1st and 10. And Holmes on the toss with the gain of about 3. Now they count on Holmes' leadership. And this is a team that plays only about a dozen seniors. Holmes started today, but when L.J. Scott starts, the only senior starter for Michigan State is Brian Allen, the center. And they play 13 true freshmen. They played 9 true freshmen last year. Mark D'Antonio's got a young team, and they are a work in progress offensively. 3-9 a season ago, already at 6 wins. Lewerke, wide open receiver, incomplete. That is 2 that he has missed. Felton Davis, if that throws on point, that's a touchdown.
This was a designed shot. You're going to see it. They went max protect on the inside edge, and he was looking for his top target, running a post route, a blown coverage in the back end for the Wildcats, no doubt about it. No defense coaches for a wide receiver to be open in the middle of the field. And Lewerke, for the second time on this drive, has missed an opportunity to put a touchdown on the board.
Sokol, the tight end, in the slot for Stewart. Comes down with it, makes the catch, moves the chains. So Lewerke's missed a couple of open receivers, but Stewart and Holmes before him with 2 outstanding individual efforts.
Yeah, and this was actually a good ball. I mean, he dropped a dime on him. That's that back shoulder fade. Great effort there on the part of Stewart to go and high point the football. Lewerke making up for 2 missed opportunities as they are now at midfield and charging down the field with an opportunity to score.
1st and 10, ball on the Michigan State 49. Out of the backfield, this is Stewart now. And he's got a first down into Wildcat territory.
And that's what he's good at, Stewart, in space. He's tough to deal with when he's got room around him to make moves, to set up defenders, and to utilize the wiggle that he has in his game.
Darrell Stewart, the sophomore out of Houston. One of a number of Spartans who went down to that area to help out with Hurricane Harvey relief efforts. That was during the bye week. All day for Lewerke. Taking another shot, wants Davis, and it's broken up. Trey Williams, who lost his starting job to Alonzo Mayo, comes up with the play.
Yeah, you can't cover somebody better than that. I mean, he's in the hip pocket. Outstanding awareness to turn around at the right time and then to get the hand on the football. You see him there knocking down the head of Felton Davis, making a big play in the end zone.
You played DB. Davis is 6'4". Williams is 5'11". How are you supposed to play a guy much bigger than you?
It's got to be timing. You've got to be physical like he was there at the point of attack.
Both boxes checked. Now Holmes. Not much room. 3rd down.
And now if you're this Wildcats defense, you're back to another 3rd down situation where you got to get off of the field. So now what you're looking for, expect on a 3rd and long situation. This is a unit as they bring out some fresh defensive linemen and bring on their best pass rusher, Joe Gaziano, onto the field, who leads this team in sacks. But you've got to get home base, apply pressure on Lewerke, and do not make it easy for him here to convert.
Let's see what Hankwitz dials up. It's a three-man rush. Lewerke standing in. He's got White, who makes the catch well shy of the marker. And now 4th down from the 34 of Northwestern. What does Michigan State do?
I'd punt the ball here, but it appears as though their offense is still out here, and this is one of those situations. You're in that awkward area of the field where going for it here, maybe it's outside of the range you're comfortable to kick a field goal, and they have moved the ball successfully, but they're going to put this in an empty set in the hands of their quarterback, Brian Lewerke. They have had success running the quarterback draw in this empty set. That may be what they go to here.
Lewerke will throw on the slant. Stewart with the first down grab.
Win your matchup. That's the name of the game in crucial and critical situations. Stewart here sitting up the inside slant route. And it's not bad coverage from Montre Hardage, but the throw was on point. Low and inside by Lewerke. He put it in the perfect location. And now the Spartans once again convert on another big 3rd down and keep this drive going.
This drive started at the Michigan State 7. Holmes crashes through the middle for a gain of about 3.
Well, guys, I think you've seen on this drive a lot of what you get with a young quarterback like Brian Lewerke. He's got 2 wide open receivers that he overthrows, but when the windows are tight, you see the talent. That's one that you don't have to think about. You just sling it, and he has made 3 incredible throws to keep this drive going.
We saw it in the first quarter with the wide receiver, Cody White. 2 great catches, including a touchdown, then a fumble. These are the growing pains of a young offense.
Right.
Lewerke, the screen, Northwestern all over it.
Great play recognition.
Tyler Lancaster.
Fantastic. And for defensive linemen, this play is designed to have your defensive linemen charge the play thinking that they've got a free release at the quarterback. But you see in the middle of the field there, Tyler Lancaster not having it. And a great opportunity here once again in the 3rd and long situation for the Wildcats to get off the field. Can they do it now when this team needs them to?
Lewerke, a low throw, ruled incomplete. And it's 4th down. And Matt Coughlin, the place kicker, will come on to try a field goal. He's a redshirt freshman. His career long is 42. And this one is from 45.
And give the Wildcats credit. That drive extended over 6 minutes, and they were able to come up big on 3rd down to force a field goal.
And now a flag.
False start. Offense number 62. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
That is Luke Campbell, and now a 45-yard field goal turns into a 50-yarder if Michigan State still elects to kick.
And it looks like they are. Showing great confidence in Matt Coughlin.
Kick is up, off the upright, no good. And a 15-play drive for Michigan State ends without any points.
And he had plenty of distance there. And this always amazes me when the ball goes off the upright. We're talking a game of inches. Boy, did that penalty hurt the Spartans.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Coors Light. Whatever your mountain, climb on. And the Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
Pat Fitzgerald, the head coach at Northwestern, His resume speaks in the imperative. 12th season as the Wildcats head coach, a decorated player, two-time All-American, two-time winner of the Nagurski and Bednarik Awards. Justin Jackson gets a couple on first down for the Wildcats. Joe Bocci back in the game for Michigan State with the stop.
And they need him. And that's the reason why. He flows so freely to the football and really just disregards blockers and any type of traffic in his way. And now you start to look at what Justin Jackson has done on the day. 9 rushes, 14 yards, averaging less than 2 yards a pop. Outstanding job by the Spartans defense.
That's a top 10 rushing defense. Thorson had Jackson. Instead, he hits Nagel, who's taken down. It'll bring up 3rd and 5. He had Jackson on what looked to be the wheel route.
You're right. The coverage came over the top late by Chris Fry. Thorson at this point in the ball game has thrown the ball way more than you'd like. 24 of 36, 234 yards, no touchdowns, but that's partly because of the way that this Spartans defense is forcing them with man-to-man coverage on the outside edges and jamming numbers inside of the box.
On 3rd and 5, Thorson has his receiver. Dickerson is shy of the marker. 4th and 1, and 3 and out go the Wildcats.
Yeah, if you're Dickerson, you've got to have better awareness there. You've got to get to the sticks. You've got to make sure that if you complete that pass, that you move the chains. That time there, just a yard short of converting.
Nice wander to White. Fair catch at the 20 after a 38-yard punt. Still tied at 10. 4:34 left in the 3rd. Our Aflac trivia question.
Aflac.
Justin Jackson needs 142 rushing yards to reach 7th all-time in the history of the Big Ten. If he gets to that mark, he'll pass Michigan State's all-time rushing leader. Who is that?
I have no clue.
I came up with the question, so I know the answer.
Yeah, of course you did.
Here's L.J. Scott. I've not heard too much from him today.
L.J. Scott, the ball carrier.
That's his 7th carry. Neither team has really had success on the ground, and we've seen the big plays come in this game through the air.
You're right. And, and I think partly because both of these defenses are forcing the quarterback to beat them with their arm. They've decided that the rushing attack won't be the reason they lose the game today.
Scott on 2nd down, moves the chains. The answer to the Aflac trivia question, Michigan State's all-time leading rusher, Lorenzo White. Had a standout career with the Houston Oilers as well. You start looking at the names Jackson could pass. Some of the best in the history of this conference. Here's Stewart on that fly sweep. 2 yards shy of the marker. 2nd and 2. Ron Dayne is the Big Ten's all-time leading rusher. The former Heisman winner from Wisconsin. Archie Griffin, a 2-time Heisman winner. Monty Ball, Mike Hart. There's Justin Jackson at number 8. That is a pretty impressive list.
I would agree.
That's a league that's had a couple of running backs. Scott. He's hit right at the line of scrimmage by Patty Fisher.
And this was a prime example of when we had a conversation with him yesterday. We asked him, how do you just get through traffic when you're his size at 6'3", 235 pounds? He says, it's almost like the Matrix, right? I don't even see the blockers. I know what they're doing, so I just flow freely to the football. And time again, you see that on him. The kid with 11 tackles on the day, 2 forced fumbles. He is a man amongst boys when he's playing at his highest level.
There was a great Hemingway line about a bullfighter. He's born with things you can't teach.
Indeed.
Lewerke stopped, 4th down.
That's a big stop for this defense. Fred Wyatt squeezing through. And now you've got a 4th down. It appears as though the punting unit is preparing itself to come onto the field. I think this is the right decision here. You certainly don't want to give Northwestern's offense the ball on your side of the field. And once again, this Wildcats defense, it started in the second quarter where they only gave up 18 yards, are now coming back out here shutting down this Spartans offensive tech.
Lees makes the fair catch inside the 20. And this second half has been a game of jockeying field position and some missed opportunities. Tonight on ABC or ESPN2, you'll get Georgia Tech and Clemson, and then Texas Tech against number 10, Oklahoma. We were talking about it at halftime in the Big 12. If Iowa State is able to pull the upset on TCU,
amazing.
Boy, the Cyclones could wreck the college football playoff party. They'd have 2 of the best wins in the country, TCU and Oklahoma. And if they win out, they would win the Big 12.
And they're doing that with their backup quarterback. By the way, just an amazing feat there by the Cyclones.
Yeah, great story on Kempt on game day this morning. Here's Skoranek, flag on the play.
First pass is we give the Skoranek flag. That's by Carter Lewis.
Pass interference. Offense number 88 will penalize half the distance to the goal. Repeat, 1st down.
First penalty against Northwestern today.
And this is Skoranek here at the bottom of your screen. He's already a big, strong, physical guy, but it was that push there coming out of his cut and his break, which I don't even think was necessary considering his length and his catching radius. The young sophomore still learning how to play the position.
On the speed option. That's Larkin with a gain of 11, but another penalty. This looks to be against Michigan State.
Holding, defense number 99. The 10-yard penalty results in a 1st down.
So the Spartans give it right back. Raequan Williams, sophomore out of Chicago. Mark D'Antonio clearly not thrilled.
And that's a rare call. You hardly ever hear defensive holding. And usually you do that to try to open up a gap for one of your players who are blitzing, etc.
You see it on pass plays. You don't see it on run plays.
100%, Anish.
Lees hauls it in for a 1st down. So Northwestern had the pass interference penalty on the offense. Defensive holding allowed the Wildcats to reset the chains. And now a 1st down at the 42.
And right now the wide receivers are winning matchups on the outside edges versus Michigan State DBs.
Back to Lees, unable to hang on.
That's the 6th drop of the day from the Wildcats. Something you've got to clean up. Thorson has put some balls on target today, despite that ball being thrown a little bit behind Lees. And this is a player that they really like and has been emerging. The redshirt freshman out of Libertyville, Illinois. He's done a good job, but those are the types of plays that if you are trying to gain the trust of your quarterback, you just got to make.
Larkin looking for room, breaks a tackle, and it's 3rd and long. Ahmad, to your point, A few weeks ago, Pat Fitzgerald has said for his offense to play better, Clayton Thorson had to make better decisions. He's been doing that the last few weeks. The O-line had to protect better.
Yes.
The O-line has done that the last few weeks. The last component, the receivers. They've got to get open and they've got to catch the ball. That's been an area of inconsistency.
You are absolutely right. And in talking to the coaching staff and in our conversations yesterday, they said we really haven't had a player emerge on the outside edge that's one that we can trust and rely on in those types of situations.
Neither team dents the
Third
scoreboard in the third quarter. Feels like a throwback game in the Big Ten.
Sure does.
We go to the fourth, tied at 10. ESPN College Football presented by PlayStation Vue. Fourth quarter tie game. Northwestern looking for a third straight win. Michigan State 6-1 on the season, 4-0 in the Big Ten. But the Spartan offense has gone into hibernation since that first quarter.
You're absolutely right. And speaking of 4-0, Northwestern is 4-0 this season when tied or leading after 3 quarters. Can they make that 5-0 today?
Third down for the Wildcats. 7 to go. A 4-man twist by the Spartans. Thorson pressured and sacked. It's the safety, Khari Willis.
Great defensive effort. You're going to see number 27, the boundary safety, playing into the boundary. This is what you call a delayed blitz. Does a good job of beating the block from Justin Jackson, chasing down the football. Had he not been there, Thorson might have been able to pick up the first down with his feet.
He took the Magellan route. White can't handle the punt. Loose ball near the 10. Who's got it? Michigan State able to recover. Cody White fumbled in the red zone in the first quarter. Nearly coughs this one up.
Rolling on the field.
ESPN College Football is presented by PlayStation Vue. Watch the biggest moments in sports. Try it free today.
Michigan State's Tyson Smith recovering the muffed punt. This is a young man who suffered a stroke last November, was not medically cleared until June to play football, came back and had a pick-6 in the season opener, and salvages a crucial possession here in the fourth quarter. Lewerke on the rollout. Comes back to Felton Davis, who's out of bounds at the 16.
That was a great play fake there. I mean, he completely duped the entire defense. He could have perhaps run the football on the outside edge. Great route there from Felton. Watch the play fake. I mean, the entire defense was flowing to its left, and out squirts out of the back of that play Lewerke with a nicely timed throw to Davis for some good first down yardage.
2 tight ends on second down. And a whistle. I wonder if they're talking about the previous play, if that's under review. Nothing we saw from the naked eye would say so.
Interesting.
The spot relative to the line to gain is challengeable. This was not close to the line to gain, so it is not reviewable. Second down.
I think another look. I guess they wanted to challenge the spot. They can't. 2nd and 3. On the ground. And Mondre London goes nowhere, so 3rd and 3 coming up.
guys, a first down here would be huge. This game is starting to feel like the game that we thought we were going to get, an old school Big Ten slugfest that's all about field position and not turning the ball over. And if Northwestern's able to get a stop here, the field position really tilts in their favor because they'll likely have the ball right around midfield.
Great point, Roddy. And it appears as though Michigan State has been committing itself to the run, much like they did a week ago versus Indiana with little success.
Lewerke running the speed option. Bottled up by Patty Fisher. It brings up 4th down. So Michigan State will have to punt, and I get committing to the run. The Spartans' best plays offensively have come through the air. Now Brian Lewerke at times has made questionable decisions. None have come back to bite him, and you wonder if this coaching staff just doesn't quite trust him completely.
Well, that was just an outstanding single effort by Patty Fisher. Did you see him there? Just completely like a ballerina, get through the blockers and make the play. Outstanding from the freshman.
Good punt by Hartbarger. Lees with the fair catch at the 41. It's become a game of field position. Northwestern will start at its own 41. Sports Center tonight after USC Arizona State. Kirk Herbstreit tells you who his top 4 will be and who should be the top 4 on Tuesday, plus the teams with the easiest playoff path. Wisconsin's got to be in that convo. We'll break down Game 4 of the World Series. Astros leading the series 2-1. Linda Cohn and Neil Everett have you covered. Both quarterbacks today have played well. Thorson's been let down by drops from his receivers, and Lewerke has missed a couple of open receivers.
You nailed it, and that's been what has happened to both of these two guys today. I am not comfortable with that 39 attempts from Clayton Thorson, but you've got to give him credit. He's still been able, though, despite not throwing a touchdown pass, he has not turned the ball over and has been very precious with making sure that he is taking care of the football and doing the necessary things to keep his team in this ball game.
Thorson to throw. He's got Cameron Green tiptoeing the sideline into Michigan State territory. 4th catch of the day for Green, the sophomore from Buffalo Grove, Illinois.
And the way that Chris Fry was actually trailing that play, it appeared as though that was probably his man, a bust in coverage, which leads to a big 1st down completion for the Wildcats.
Now Northwestern gets close to field goal range. Thorson again to the air. He's looking long. He wants Wilson, but it's incomplete.
Well, it's a safe throw. You know, keep it out of harm's way. If you're going to go anywhere there, go long. Do not allow the defensive back who's trailing an opportunity to break up the pass or to intercept it.
Guys, I like Northwestern's decision there to go with a little bit of tempo after the big play. This is our 2nd time covering Northwestern, and Clayton Thorson looks more comfortable the faster they go.
Jackson. Now, there has been just no running room for Justin Jackson. He has been shackled by Michigan State. It's 3rd down now for Northwestern. And Roddy, we were talking in the break about how conservative you may have to be, given that this game appears to be one that may come down to field position, a turnover. I mean, do you think about just getting a more manageable field goal here?
I think you absolutely do. It changes the way you call the plays. I think Northwestern, if they get 5 or 6 yards, they may go for it on 4th down or a more manageable field goal.
Thorson under pressure. Rolling to his right. Thorson slowed from behind. There is a penalty marker downfield. He's marked ahead of the 1st down marker, but there is a penalty at the 16-yard line.
Holding defense number 2. The 10-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. 1st down.
We have talked so much today about Brian Lewerke's ability to extend plays. And yesterday in our conversation, I flat out asked Clayton Thorson, how fast are you? I said, you know, I've heard you about a 4.6, and And we kind of joked around about it as a crew, but that time they were outrunning two defensive players on the defensive line and picking up a big first down.
Jackson's going to throw. End zone. Touchdown. Skowronek. Halloween weekend, Pat Fitzgerald into the bag of candy. Look what he pulls out.
You're absolutely right. I have not seen this play while studying film, but what a great way to take advantage of a team that has fully focused on number 21. And we thought he'd get in the end zone today, but not via the pass. Outstanding play call. They set him up all game long. The right timing, and Skowronek. We were on him pretty tough for some early drops. This time here doing exactly what they expect him to do. High point the football, be a reliable target in the red zone, and put points on the board. How about Justin Jackson with the money throw, and Skowronek fighting for the football to put his team up 17-10.
To come down to a gadget play, you would have bet the mortgage on D'Antonio. But it's Pat Fitzgerald, Mick McCall, the offensive coordinator for Northwestern. The play that the Wildcats just scored on, that was not on any tape. That was not on any scouting report. You can't prepare for this.
And that's why you see the safety here, Khari Willis. Eyes in the backfield. They set this play up brilliantly. And I don't blame them. I mean, I'm coming downhill with a full head of steam thinking to myself, Justin Jackson is about to run the football, and out pops Skowronek for a big-time play.
Guys, it kind of feels like one of those plays that they probably had in the playbook for Justin Jackson's entire career. And this game, he's saying, Coach, I can throw it. Remember that. I can throw it.
Brian Lewerke pumps. Floats it downfield for Davis, too far. Adnan.
It was intended for Wilson Davis III. Andre Harder's on the coverage. 2nd and 10, Michigan State on the 125-yard line.
Penn State 35-20. Nittany Lions play Michigan State next week. Ohio State gets Michigan State in 2 weeks. 2nd down. Stewart. Breaking a couple of tackles and able to pick up 6.
Horrible tackling on the outside edge by two very experienced players in the secondary. Kyle Cairo along with Montre Hardage. And they're lucky that wasn't popped for a big one.
Stewart wide open in the flat. Flags on the play. A 1st down if it stands. That might be offensive interference.
I would agree. It looked like Cody White coming from the outside picked the defender, and that's why you had a wide open passing target for Brian Lewerke.
Pass interference. Offense number 7. 15-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
White made a couple of big catches on the opening drive. And you hate to say it, he's a young player. He's going to be good. But he's had a few too many freshman mistakes since.
He's growing. And these are the growing pains you've got to go through. But they believe he's going to be an outstanding playmaker. And being a former defensive back, you'll see it at the top of your screen. One of the toughest routes to defend is the pick route. And typically you want guys on 2 different levels. So this doesn't happen. And now that I look at that play, it wasn't actually a bad pick. Unfortunately, though, the officials thought it was.
Spartans near the 35-yard line. Lewerke chased. Stops. heaves it downfield. Cody White finding redemption.
Oh my goodness. I mean, watch Lewerke here doing work, buying time, and it's not a bad job of keeping him in the pocket and then showing off the arm strength to sling it down the field. Michigan State with a huge conversion on third down.
White has matched his career high in catches with 6. Set that last week. The 134 yards, a new career high. In Northwestern territory, Lewerke, he's going to throw. Now he'll throw it away. Pat Fitzgerald wants an intentional grounding. They may talk about this. Now there was no receiver in the area.
Wow, this is a big decision here by the officials.
I think he was still in the tackle box.
It's very close.
The passer was outside the tackle box, and the ball crossed the line of scrimmage. There's no foul for intentional grounding. Second down.
Patty Fisher here, adding himself to the rush. This wasn't designed. Watch him just charge the quarterback. He sees an opening, and he goes after it. And I don't know. That was pretty close.
You had Kevin Jarvis out on the edge. Here's White. Another first down. I tell you what, he had the early touchdown. He fumbled in the red zone. He muffed a punt. He had a costly penalty, but 2 huge catches. Clear cuttions.
Michigan State on the Northwestern 24-yard line.
He dumped that browsing history quickly, and we saw him step up late against Indiana. Lewerke was finding White and Hunter Rison, the other freshman. 1st and 10. Lewerke, end zone, incomplete.
Lewerke's pass is incomplete, intended for Cam Chambers.
Cam Chambers was the target.
Trey Williams on the coverage, 2nd and 10, Michigan State on the Northwestern 24-yard line.
Go back to that intentional grounding penalty. Boy, or that lack of.
Wow, I mean, from the looks of it, he looks like he was tackled inside of the hash mark. And if that were the case, that's one of those calls, and I don't blame Pat Fitzgerald for getting all over the officials and questioning whether that was an intentional grounding call or not.
Empty look. Northwestern rushing just 2. White in traffic, broken up and incomplete. Jared McGee, who had a pick against the Spartans last year. It's 3rd down.
Guys,
Great.
how many times have we seen that today? Lewerke throwing a ball, Northwestern having a shot at it and hitting their hands and them not being able to come down with it. That was a tough one because of the contact from the receiver, but Northwestern's had a number of opportunities today they haven't been able to capitalize on.
McGee is down.
Northwestern, number 41, Jared McGee.
They will attend to the junior from Texas. We remind you, Georgia Tech and number 7 Clemson. That's an ESPN2 or ABC game tonight, as is Texas Tech and Oklahoma. Baker Mayfield will continue his Heisman push. We saw Georgia Tech last week, a team that is dangerous with the option and a team that is 2 plays from being a top 10 team and undefeated.
They're scary good, especially Antaquan Marshall, outstanding playmaker for that offense. And Clemson tonight is going to have their hands full with all of the different ways that Paul Johnson and that offense likes to confuse defenders and get players out in open space with that triple option, speed option, counter option, you name it. They run every kind of option known to man.
Clemson had an extra week to prepare after the Syracuse loss, so they get Kelly Bryant back. It'll be a tall task for Georgia Tech because he's what makes that offense go.
But so did Wake Forest, Roddy, and they still carved them all over the field as we saw. when we were there down in Atlanta.
3rd and 10. Ahmad, is this 4-down territory, or if you're Mark D'Antonio, you say, you know what, I trust my defense to get the ball back, and I'll take a field goal if I have to?
Give me that #1 defense in the Big Ten.
Lewerke, he's got Felton Davis, and Davis has a first down. Lewerke and his receivers have made some key crunch time catches.
Fisher on the coverage.
Patty Fisher in coverage, trying to get a jam on the wide receiver, and they found the opening. Watch the middle of the field. No defenders there for the Wildcats. And Lewerke standing in the pocket, being patient, and putting a ball on target for a first down.
L.J. Scott in the backfield, first down. Lewerke to Scott. Broke the initial tackle and pushed out of bounds at the 10.
Pass is complete to L.J. Scott.
Second down.
Tackled by Dominic Rebuke. Either 12 plays, 2nd and 8, Michigan State. Now they're on Western 10.
302 yards through the air for Brian Lewerke, sophomore from Phoenix, Arizona. Completed his last 5 passes against Indiana last week when the Spartans rallied in the 4th quarter. Lewerke on the move. Flag down. End zone throw incomplete.
Lewerke's pass is incomplete. Flag on the play.
This is a critical call here.
Holding, offense number 61, 10-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
Left tackle Cole Chewins.
And you admire the effort from your offensive lineman trying to protect your quarterback. As we circle Chewins. Excellent bull rush there, but you can't create that separation. If your hands are outside, more than likely the officials are going to make that call. That's why they teach and coach getting inside where you can hold there to avoid the officials from being able to see you control the defender by holding. 2nd and long here inside of the red zone. These are hard to convert.
Spartans beat the play clock. Lewerke's pass to White, and he stretches inside of the 15. Fisher on the stop. 3rd down coming up, and Michigan State has to get to the Northwestern 3.
Yeah, in these types of situations, we've seen the Wildcats drop numbers back today. However, if I'm the defensive coordinator in this particular situation, I heat up the pocket and I force Lewerke to beat me and beat me fast.
Cody White is in the slot. Lewerke with time. Now here's the pressure. Lewerke throws it into the air and out of bounds toward the Northwestern sideline. Pat Fitzgerald wanted another grounding call, no flag.
Receiver number 25 was in the area.
I was about to say it. Darrell Stewart was in that area. So now 4th down, and Coughlin on for a field goal attempt. He is 1 for 2 today. Missed for 51. This is a 32-yarder. Off the upright. That's the 2nd time today.
Are you kidding me? I'm not sure I have ever seen this in the course of the game. 2nd ball today off the upright.
Matt Coughlin, 2 missed field goals, both off the upright, but both field goal attempts were pushed further back because of penalties.
Man.
Northwestern with the ball at the 20. Thorson down the seam. He's got Skowronek. Here's Adnan. That's an impressive showing by Notre Dame as we look at both head coaches. It was Macon Wilson, by the way, who had that last reception, not Skowronek. 1st and 10 Northwestern. Jackson. He's a guy that we have seen over the course of his career. He gets stronger as the game goes on, Roddy.
Yeah, and you're exactly right, Anish. They haven't had a lot of success on the ground, but as you get further and further into this game, the 7-point lead, I'd expect them to try and start to get Jackson going a little bit. They're going to have to. We've seen them go with tempo some. Now it's time to slow the ball down and feed the ball carrier.
With one more carry, Jackson will have 1,000 attempts for his career. Wildcats bleed some clock. Here's Jackson. And able to pick up a first down. Carry number 1,000. 5th player in Big Ten history with 1,000 attempts.
Roddy, as a running back, just talk through how special this kid is.
He's incredibly special. He shows great patience and lets his linemen get out there and block for him. I mean, on a play where you've got pullers, if you go too fast, you outrun your linemen. If you go too slow, the defenders can dodge them inside and make the tackle. But if you have just the right pace like Justin Jackson, he's able to hit it as those guys are making contact.
You saw the promo, Tuesday, 7 Eastern, Halloween. We're staying in at night to watch the reveal of the first college football rankings. Jackson again, and he is to midfield, about a yard shy of midfield. Northwestern will be patient now. This would be a big win for the Wildcats if they can hold on. You look at the rest of their schedule, a road game at Nebraska, that is winnable. And then the balance, all games, they're going to be favored to win. Purdue, Minnesota, and Illinois. They've got a chance to finish with 8 or 9 wins despite a 2-3 start. Got to get this one first. Here's Jackson. It'll bring up 3rd down and get plenty of time left. Meanwhile, for Michigan State, if you can come back and win this game if the Spartans use a timeout to stop the clock, Michigan State would be 5-0 in the Big Ten with a chance to do damage in the playoff race. They've got games against Penn State and Ohio State coming up. All-State is proud to be part of the team that comes together to do good by contributing to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. To date, All-State has contributed millions in scholarship funds. Michigan State has scored 17 points or less in 3 of its 4 conference games. They're 4-0 in league play. Going to need at least 17 to prolong this one, and Mark D'Antonio's top 10 defense needs a big 3rd down stop to give Brian Lewerke and this offense one more chance.
Well, the game is hanging in the balance, and now if you're the top unit in the Big Ten, you've got to get the ball back for your offense.
Thorson keeps it on the zone read. Slowed up by Willekes and then brought down by Josiah Scott.
Timeout.
So
Michigan State.
This is their second of the half. Timeout.
This is a 30-second timeout.
They've got 1 left, and Northwestern will punt. Spartans will likely be backed up, but they get the ball back. They've got a timeout. They've got 3:21.
Great defensive stop and great discipline. And though we haven't seen Thorson pull the ball or them get into the zone read and run pass options a lot today, but this defense was ready for it. They stayed at home, secured the tackle, and now your offense is coming back out on the field with an opportunity to drive, perhaps maybe the length of the field, and tie this ball game up and send it into overtime.
Now you look at what's been the difference today. Each team has had the ball 3 times in the red zone. Northwestern, 2 TDs and a field goal. Michigan State, 1 touchdown, a lost fumble, and a missed field goal.
And you get in that red area, you have to strike.
Nice wander to punt. The Spartans nearly jumped. That would give Northwestern a first down.
Also almost gave Mark D'Antonio a heart attack.
There's Cody White. Fair catch made inside the 15. The Spartans with 80-plus yards to go. They need a touchdown. They've got 3:14. All week long, the coaches talked about this offense having to be better. They haven't scored since their 3rd possession. You want this young offense to grow up and grow up fast. Here's an opportunity to do so.
None of the stuff that has happened before this drive matters at all. And if you're Brian Lewerke, that's what I'm trying to do right now as a player, is clear my head. I've been in situations where I've given up big plays throughout the course of the game and come back and had the game-winning interception. These are the types of plays where you really got to focus on your job and let everything else go.
Lewerke hits Stewart. And he looks to have a first down for Michigan State.
Great start to the drive, great timing, great decision-making by Lewerke.
Right back to Stewart. Taken down near the 30-yard line. Second down coming up. Nate Hall with the stop. Clock continues to run.
Gotta like the 2 quick, easy completions for Lewerke to kind of get him going, get him in the flow. A lot of times these young guys thrive better when they don't have time to think.
The tight end Sokol for a first down.
Great awareness there by the tight end, getting to the sticks, knowing exactly where he needed to get to move the chains, and Lewerke finding his man.
They made a free on the play, 1st and 10, Michigan State on the 34-yard line.
Back to the air, back to Davis, out of bounds, just shy of midfield. Another first down for Michigan State. Lewerke perfect on this drive.
That was a big-time throw. Anytime you go from the opposite hash and throw it out on the far side, you are showing off your arm talent to the NFL.
Once we get under 2 minutes, a play out of bounds will stop the clock. On the slant that time to Stewart. And he's in Northwestern territory at the 46. Stewart down. Now springs up. Stop the clock with 1:56. And now a penalty marker at the end of the play.
Flag on the play.
There's no foul on the play for targeting.
You know, oftentimes people in my position will rag the officials. This is the right call. When you've got a player the height and the size of Patty Fisher at 6'4", trying to tackle a smaller back on the ground, that did not appear to be a malicious hit at all.
Lewerke back to the air. Hunter Rison out of bounds. That will stop the clock with 1:51. That's the son of former Michigan State great Andre Rison, a 12-year NFL vet and a 5-time Pro Bowler.
Lewerke right now is in great rhythm, finding all of his wide receivers, putting timely passes out into the flat, across the middle. If he keeps this up, his team is bound to find the end zone.
Too high for White.
Lewerke's pass is incomplete, intended for Cody White.
It's hard to overthrow Cody White at 6'3", 206 pounds. He's trying to give his wide receiver an opportunity. The first incompletion of this drive for Brian Lewerke. They're now in a second and long situation. They've had success on this drive, going to the flats. And if you're the Northwestern defense, you're caught in between trying to keep everything in front of you and trying to prevent a big play that leads to a score.
360 pass yards for Lewerke, a career high. Tack on about 7 or 8 more as Rison makes the catch. He did not get out of bounds, so the clock will continue to run. And third down for Michigan State. Lewerke 7 for 8 on this drive. Trying to go quickly, and now we get a penalty marker.
False start. Offense number 89. 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
That's Matt Dotson, one of the backup tight ends.
And the Spartan players were barking at the officials because it felt like he hung in too long.
To the air, low throw, a catch by Stewart at the 30, and it's now fourth down for Michigan State.
That's a great catch.
Clock continues to run. The Spartans have one timeout. They have to get to the Northwestern 26.
Timeout. Northwestern.
And
this is their first of the half.
A timeout
this is a 30-second timeout.
53 seconds. This is the ball game right here. Adnan. This one a little different than when these two played last year, and Northwestern won 54-40. It is 17-10, 53 seconds left in regulation. Fourth end of the ball game for Michigan State.
And I thought that was a great use of timeouts by head coach Pat Fitzgerald. Bring your team to the sideline. This is a tremendous fourth down play here. Offensively here on this drive, Lewerke has really worked the edges, the flats. Cody White lined up inside. Felton Davis lined up inside. Out-breaking routes here would be ideal in a situation like this.
Lewerke, he's gonna run. Reaches the ball forward, and he's got the first down. And he stops the clock with 47 seconds.
Oh, man. This young man is growing up on this drive. He's already made some key throws. That time there, the decision making. And at the open of this show, I said the difference would be when he figures out how to activate his athleticism, making the right decisions. That time there in a fourth down situation, choosing to go with his feet, picking up the first down, the best decision he could have made.
Lewerke shovels to Stewart. Inside the 20, inside the 15.
That's a little Brett Favre action there. As he moved the chains moving one way, nobody on the field was expecting the toss there. Lewerke doing his thing.
Clock starts on the official signal. Lewerke for Davis. End zone! Davis with the touchdown catch!
Lewerke's pass is complete to Felton Davis in third. Score Northwestern 17, Michigan State 16.
They will look at this one.
That appears as though
Rolling on
that
the
is a
field
catch.
was a completion for a touchdown. The play is under further review.
Excellent effort from the 6'4", 195-pound junior from Richmond, Virginia. The question is, are his hands underneath there? To me, that appears to be control.
Boy, that is awfully close. You have to complete the catch.
Wow.
Now, the ball is allowed to hit the ground. You just cannot use the ground as a cradle. So right there, the officials have to deem when that ball hits the ground, did he possess it and make the catch? The ruling on the field, which is critical in this situation, was touchdown, and you need indisputable video evidence to overturn that call. And the question is, did he complete the catch? Watch right here, the ball comes out just a little bit. So he hasn't possessed it, and right there you've got a rule. Did he possess? Did that satisfy possession? Did that satisfy?
For me, it does. Here's why. I see him hauling in the pass. You know, and the intent here, watch him, it's intentional. He's closing off the football with his arms. In my opinion, I think this is going to be hard to overturn.
This is a critical review.
Wow.
Felton Davis last week had the go-ahead TD catch.
Yes, he did.
Against Indiana, and 2 weeks in a row now. Brian Lewerke, he started strong today. Second and third quarters, this offense didn't do a lot. There were some missed opportunities. Boy, crunch time, Brian Lewerke, 2 weeks in a row, has delivered for Michigan State.
He grew up. That's all you can say there. And after struggling and not scoring since their fourth drive, what an amazing drive here by the Spartans to what it looks like gets on the board and scores the tying touchdown.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
And that's why the call on the field is critical.
Took the extra point, Matt Conklin.
They said stands, not confirmed either way. The touchdown counts, but this PAT is critical. Matt Coughlin has missed 2 field goals, hitting the upright twice. The kick is good, and Michigan State has tied this game with 25 seconds left.
Welcome to big-time college football, Brian Lewerke. 10 of 11, 87 yards, and a touchdown. Here is this game-tying drive. Lewerke on point. He was extremely sharp to the outside edge here, throwing a ball from the opposite hash to the flat. And this was the play of the drive. The fourth down conversion with his feet. A double move in the end zone that's actually covered very well by the defensive back, but it was the effort by Felton Davis. And that man right there, Brian Lewerke, growing up right here in Illinois.
A 12-play, 88-yard drive. Lewerke 10 for 11.
Wow.
396 yards passing for Lewerke, a career high for the sophomore from Phoenix. There's Northwestern with a chance. Lee slides down inside the 20. Last week against Iowa, Pat Fitzgerald played for overtime. The decision paid off. You got 2 timeouts. Do you take a shot or do you take a knee and at home play for OT?
I mean, I look at the work that Clayton Thorson has done so far. 28 of 42, 287 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. This might be a game here where I think you nil it and you take this puppy into overtime here in front of your home crowd.
Now that appears to be the decision.
Thorson takes a knee.
Bonus football in Evanston. Michigan State with a late rally, a late drive. They're dreaming of a 5-0 start in the Big Ten. Northwestern headed to overtime for a second consecutive
That is the end of the fourth quarter.
Overtime in Evanston. Let's listen in for the coin toss.
Gentlemen, overtime. Each team will possess the ball at the opponent's 25-yard line. You get one timeout per period, and they do not carry over. We have the same coin as earlier. Michigan State, you want heads or tails? Tails. He called tails. We're going to let it hit the ground. The call's tails. It is a tail. Michigan State. Michigan State chooses to start on defense. They will start on defense. Northwestern chooses to play at that end. It'll be Northwestern's ball, 1st and 10 at that end, at the 25-yard line.
Northwestern last week beat Iowa in overtime. Michigan State has won 4 in a row. All 4 games were decided by 1 possession or less. These are the rules for overtime. You saw what happened with the coin toss. Each team gets the ball from the opponent's 25-yard line until a winner is decided. No game clock, just the play clock. And if we are tied after 2 OTs, you have to go for a 2-point conversion, starting with triple overtime.
One of the things that I've been most impressed with this young Michigan State Spartans team is the way that they've finished close games. You don't expect young teams to be able to do that. And I think actually heading in to this overtime, a slight edge may go in favor of the Spartans.
Mark D'Antonio said his team is young but mature. Clayton Thorson, he's got Nagel, and Nagel with a nice run after catch to pick up a first down. Remember, Northwestern's 2 touchdowns in this game, one on a 4th and goal quarterback sneak, the other on a gadget play.
Great point. That time there, an outstanding effort, second effort, that allowed them to pick up the first down.
The run game has not been there. Thorson to the air. Cameron Green wide open. Touchdown.
Anish, this wasn't a trick play, but it was a double move on the outside edge. And watch the play fake here from Thorson. That's going to hold the defense. This pump fake is what opened up the back end and which allowed Cameron Green to slide right into the end zone for the touchdown.
Kubander's PAT is good. If I would have told you before the game we would have 2 300-yard passers,
I probably would have laughed. You know, and no disrespect to these quarterbacks, the reality is that both of these teams are led by their rushing attack. Watch the double move on the outside. Great sell here from Cameron Green. And this is supposed to be where he's setting up, they call it a stalk block. And he's supposed to stutter those feet as though he's blocking the cornerback and releasing to his route. Perfectly executed with a superb throw from Thorson. 2 plays, 7 points for the Wildcats.
Michigan State quarterback Brian Lewerke will now lead the Spartan offense. They need a touchdown and a PAT to extend the game. Lewerke has thrown for 396 yards. He'll go to the air through the hands of White. Lewerke just 4 yards away of tying the school record for passing yards. Bill Burke threw for 400 against Michigan back in 1999. On second down, Felton Davis. 3rd and 5 coming up at net. Now 3rd down, Michigan State, here in overtime. Lewerke over the middle, Sokol with a 1st down. 1st and goal from the 7.
One of the knocks on Lewerke coming into this game was that he didn't go through his progression. That time their read progression was outstanding. Started to his left, worked his way through his progression, and found the open man. Great patience there from the young sophomore quarterback.
Five wide. Got to be wary of the quarterback draw if you're Northwestern. There it is. They were on it. Lewerke got a yard.
It's a great call by you, Anish. Yeah, you're right, Ahmad. I like the play call, too. That's exactly what I was about to say. Because Lewerke's legs were a big part of that last drive, and just making sure Northwestern's respecting it goes a long way. And you still got 3 shots from just outside the 5-yard line.
You're 100% right, and can Cody White or Felton Davis, who have a size advantage on the outside edge, this is the time when your big targets step up in the red zone.
Holmes in the backfield. Lewerke for Davis. Touchdown!
Touchdown. Lewerke's pass is complete to Felton Davis, the 3rd. The score, Northwestern 24, Michigan State 23.
Let's watch this receiver, DB ISO. This is a brilliantly thrown ball. If you're the defensive back, you're expecting him to go over the top this time. They set it down with the back shoulder fade. Great body position by Felton Davis to find just that small fraction of the end zone and to open up that space for his quarterback.
The point after to send it into double OT. And we have 2 overtimes here at Ryan Field. Back in 60 seconds, Michigan State and Northwestern now in double overtime. Both teams trade touchdowns in the first overtime. Michigan State will have the ball first here in double overtime. Brian Lewerke has set career highs in completions attempts, and his 420 passing yards are a Michigan State school record.
First and 10, Michigan State on the 25-yard line.
Lewerke, dangerous pass. He's got Holmes. And Holmes rumbles ahead for a 1st down.
Dangerous pass, but great protection up front to allow him to get to his 2nd and 3rd progression. Once again, Lewerke standing tall and tough in the pocket and throwing a rope to the flat.
That's a confident quarterback standing in there right now for the Spartans. End zone, White, touchdown!
Touchdown.
Second touchdown for Cody White, who's had a career day himself after having one just last week.
And this was set up nicely. They put the safety, Jared McGee, in a pickle. They ran an underneath route across the field and put Cody White on the seam, and it freezes the safety as he bites down on the outside edge and leaving room over the top for Cody White. Lewerke, what can you say about the young man tonight? 444 yards, 45 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 9 rush, 30 yards. He's the leading rusher in this game. Hey, check this man's chest for an S on his chest. The timing and the beautiful, quick, smooth release leads to another Spartan touchdown.
31-24, Michigan State. Northwestern now needs a touchdown and a PAT to extend the game into a triple overtime. If we go to a third overtime, then you have to go for a 2-point conversion on a touchdown. Jackson in space. Taken down at the 21, a gain of 4.
Pass is complete to Justin Jackson.
There hasn't been much in the run game today for Justin Jackson, but I like them getting him involved. He didn't touch the ball in the first overtime. First play in the second overtime. Let's get it in the hands of our big playmaker.
Thorson has been outstanding as well. 316 yards, a touchdown despite some drops from his receivers. They go back to the sideline. Green tornadoes his way inside the 5.
Complete to Cameron Green.
And it's 1st and goal.
And a rare missed tackle from Joe Bocci in the open field, which allowed him to move this ball inside of the 5-yard line.
3-yard line.
But this is one of the most difficult areas to score in, and Roddy can tell you, when you're inside of your 5, when they know the run's coming, they can jam numbers in the box and cover one-on-one on the outside edge.
Skoranek motioning. Jackson. Nowhere to go. 2nd and goal. Chris Fry, the senior captain, with the stop.
It's a good call by you, Ahmad. When you get close to this goal line, it becomes an interior game. And Raekwon Williams and Mike Penashuk in the middle, the 2 defensive tackles for Michigan State, are 2 men in there. And they free up the linebackers to be able to make plays like that.
Jackson. Touchdown!
Touchdown. Justin Jackson.
All right, Ahmad, if you're Pat Fitzgerald, well, I was going to ask you if you think about 2,
No.
but the kicking unit ran right
No,
on.
you make me do that in the 3rd overtime. Justin Jackson hadn't found pay dirt all game long. And the forceful run here, he gets creases up front from the interior offensive line. As Roddy talked about, it is a game of your big boys inside of the 5. This time here, the Wildcats win the matchup.
Kubander now for the tie. Nice wander to hold. Kubander's kick is good.
That kick is good.
And we are on to overtime number 3. Catch your breath. We play on in 60 seconds.
How many upsets is that already? Iowa State.
Oh, the Big Ten is on fire.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. And then how about Houston beating USF as well, 28-24. Iowa State pulling off the upset versus TCU. We've got a heck of a ball game here in Evanston. Man, college football is here, ladies and gentlemen, and it is heading into the month of November where you really get a chance to see what teams are made of. But we've got some October treats early on.
Northwestern has the ball to start the third overtime. Any touchdown that a team scores from here on out, you have to go for two. Thorson has an open receiver. Incomplete. He wanted Green.
And this ball was thrown behind him. Despite that, you still got to come up with that catch if you're Cameron Green. And I'm not sure why he went to the ground there. Keep your feet. You've got to make that catch.
Jackson cuts it back and picks up about 3. So 3rd and 7 for Northwestern here in the third overtime. If you're just joining us, Michigan State marched 88 yards on its final drive to score a touchdown with less than 30 seconds to play in regulation. Both teams have traded TDs in the first 2 overtimes.
Michigan State aggressive on the outside edge. Man press coverage. It appears as though they are telling the Wildcats to beat them with the pass.
Thorson has Nagel. Flynn Nagel stumbling into the end zone.
This all started with the protection. The all-around complete back, Justin Jackson, scores in second overtime for the first time and finds pay dirt. Then he comes back with an excellent block to buy Thorson the time and allow Nagel with the strong effort to get in the end zone, as they are now going for 2, as you have to after and in the third overtime.
What's the call here, Ahmad? The run game has not been there.
Well, I mean, they're giving you one-on-one matchups. Take advantage of them on the outside edge.
Thorson looking, end zone. 2-point conversion successful as Cameron Green brings it in. And now Michigan State needs a touchdown and 2.
Wow, so exciting. We're going to go back to that touchdown and see the effort from Justin Jackson. Watch number 21 as he picks up a block on the opposite side to buy Thorson the time. Great protection, the awareness knowing, and that's on Joe Bocci. And then the outstanding finish from Nagel. And then you come back here for the 2-point conversion. Once again, we'll see it one more time. Nagel on an underneath route as the DB is trailing Josiah Scott. 2-point conversion. Cameron Green had already dropped the ball on the first play of this drive. Nearly dropped this one, but hauls it in for 2. Spartans on the ball, now having to score a touchdown and get a 2-point conversion.
Lewerke on first down. Incomplete off the knee of White. 9 catches today for Cody White, 165 yards, 2 TDs for the true freshman who is Mr. Football in the state of Michigan. Could not come up with that one in 2nd and 10.
Does this young Spartan team have more mojo and magic left?
Lewerke has it knocked away, recovers it. He's still going to try to throw into traffic. It's intercepted by Northwestern. The game is over. The Wildcats prevail. Nate Hall comes up with the play as the fireworks go off at Ryan Field.
What a game. Live by the sword, die by the sword. All game long, Brian Lewerke has carved up this Wildcats defense. Not his first mistake of the game, because they've dropped two. However, this time, the defense for the Wildcat hauls it in to end this exhilarating game that ends in triple overtime. What a Big Ten thriller. Let's take a look at this one more time on the final play. Brian Lewerke, outstanding pressure there by Joe Gaziano to knock the ball loose. And Lewerke here has done it so many times today. Heaves one up in the end zone. But outside linebacker Nate Hall, the junior from Toledo, Ohio, high-pointing the football and making perhaps the interception and the catch of his career.
Lewerke is going to watch this play, and he'll be the first one to say, you're trying to throw that across your body into the end zone. You throw that away. You regroup for the next play. It's a young team, and we talked about growing pains. But for Northwestern and Pat Fitzgerald, they've now won 3 in a row. It's going to be tough to catch Wisconsin in their division. But when you look at the rest of the schedule for the Wildcats, Northwestern running the table is very doable.
I agree.
We had a triple overtime thriller in Evanston. Northwestern comes out on top. Oh, Big Ten football has been bananas on this Saturday afternoon. 39-31.